Hello everyone, it's Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions, and today I'm going to talk to you about an idea that I read about, and it has to do with using flash mobs to get your guests seated at your next charity auction. And this is pretty timely because it doesn't seem all that infrequent that I hear one of my clients want to talk about how they can get their guests seated rapidly. And if you've got a small group, this probably isn't a big deal, but if you're talking about 500, 800, 1,000 people, then you know that that program isn't going to start until everybody is seated, and it's going to take time to get them there. We usually allot 15 to 20 minutes for a group. So what had prompted this was, well, first let me tell you what a flash mob is. I guess that's the most important thing. I went to Wikipedia, and the formal definition here is that a flash mob is a group of people who assemble suddenly in a public place, perform an unusual and sometimes seemingly pointless act for a brief time, then they disperse, often for the purposes of entertainment and or satire. I lived in New York in 2005 and 2006, and I think that the flash mob concept started in '03, so there was a lot of activity going on in New York this time about flash mobs, and some of the ones that I've read about or seen include a pillow fight in a public park. There were people who froze in a train station for 5 minutes, so as they're going through Grand Central, they just suddenly freeze. Can you imagine how everybody walking around them is like, what's going on? It's great. You can go to YouTube and watch the video for that. Choreographed dance routine, we'll see more of that in a moment. Maybe I've seen a group purchase. I think that was the very first one, is 100 people went in to make a group purchase of a rug together. Twins on a subway, they each mimicked each other as they sat across the aisle from one another. So all these things, again, are just to get a public reaction, but they aren't necessarily famous people doing this. It's just common, ordinary types of people who are getting together to put on these performances. So I had read about one such flash mob in the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and you can read about it as well if you follow this link right up here. That'll get you to the article, and this link will get you to the video, which I'm going to show you an excerpt of here in a moment. But the group is called Tipping Point. They've got about 900 guests. It's in San Francisco. They always have a hard time getting their guests to sit down. This year they did a little dance routine of about 100 volunteers, 80 to 100 volunteers participated in this, and they said it took them about 10 minutes to seat the crowd. I think 10 minutes plus the dance routine. And I say that because I think it becomes relevant here in a moment. But what I wanted to do was show you an example of what this looked like, but I think we'll go on first here. Yeah, so there is a formula for success. Just doing the flash mob is not going to get you where you want to go. As I have observed different venues and seen some of this in action, I will tell you that there's kind of 3 elements to success if you decide that you want to try this for your charity auction. First, you do have to have a well-coordinated flash mob. You've got to have people there who know what's going to happen. They aren't afraid to make it happen, and they go out and do whatever it is you're telling them to do. The second element, though, is the entryway. Now this is from I'm going to show you that video here in a second, but this is from a auction that we did. There's not a lot of auctions that we work that are set up in this way that it would work for a flash mob, but this would, because you see how here in the background they have a nice veil, a screen, a drape, and this, if they moved the bar here in the middle and they allowed for this to open up at a designated time, it would be very dramatic and it would be appropriate. People would see it and know that they're supposed to move. In many of the auctions that we do, they tend to be in a hall. The silent auction reception is in a hallway of a hotel, and the dramatic entryway is really just opening up the double doors to the ballroom, and maybe there's 3 or 4 sets spread out along the hallway. But it's not the same effect as when you've got one major entry point. And there's only a couple of venues, honestly, in DC that I think would work for that sort of success. One of them being the hotel right here, the Wardman Park that you're looking at. The other one is maybe the Building Museum in Washington, D.C. But you've got to have, it's all kind of in the same space, divided by that drape. So now I want to show you an excerpt of the video and why this becomes important. So let me fool around here with the computer. Hang on. Okay, so here is the video. Again, you can go to YouTube yourself and see this. So here's the bulk of the guests. You see, everybody's here. And we have our 2 people that are just starting out right there in the middle doing the dance. But I want you to look at this screen here in the back. That's what's going to open here. So now they've got more people participating. Very nice. I'm going to scoop this up. Now we've got more people participating. Okay. Still they're going. Let's get this closer to the point where it starts to end. Watch the screen there in the back. Everybody's standing around. Now they're clapping. They've got everybody's attention. Voila! They say, allons-y, follow me. This is where they're supposed to go. So watch the guests. There they go. Now I would still honestly have people over here telling people to get in, but you know, that's my approach. So did you see though the whole point of that screen? It's a dramatic entryway. If they would have had a small set of double doors spread out along a long hallway, it's going to be a lot harder to get the attention that you need to make that work. Let's go back to the oops. Okay, so now let's go. That's the first thing. Well-coordinated flash mob. Number 2, a large entryway allowing for that dramatic opening. And then a good sound system. As you noticed on that video, you got to have the dancers hear the music. You got to hear everyone else hear the music, or they don't follow along. So a lot of groups that I work with wouldn't necessarily want to invest in that strong of a sound system for their silent auction area, their reception area. But if you're going to have a flash mob work well, you're going to need to have a good sound system. So that's the other element that you need to make this work. And oops. I'm not coordinated here. I got too much going on. Anyway, what does it equal? It equals a faster way to seat the guests. So again, it's a concept that you might use. I think that video was 3 minutes and some change. It said it took them 10 minutes. So in essence, they've got 900 guests seated, and it took 14 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. So if that sounds faster than what you're doing, your current guest sitting down portion, if you're blocking out more time than that, maybe you should consider this sort of flash mob for your event. Now, if you're looking for other great ideas, go to the website, redappleauctions.com. I got a free gift up there. It's all these procurement. I don't want to change my color scheme performance. What sold like a gem in 2010, and you can go ahead and get that for free at redappleauctions.com. I'm Sherry with Red Apple. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, good luck to you in your next charity auction.